Hi everybody, Craig from Gilson's here. Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I will be taking a trip up to Scotland, just a little bit above Inverness, to get on the red deer, to try and get my first hind, something I've not actually done yet, and I am extremely grateful for this opportunity. Thank you very much to Elite Optical Distribution and Hick Micro. I do want to just show you my kit, what I'm going to be taking up, just my basic rifle setup, nothing too deep in that, and then we'll get on the road. Let's go. Okay, so really quickly, just running through the setup I'll be taking out on the hill with me. So I have the Seiko 90 fin light in 308 caliber, fitted with the Howskin JD 224 sound mod with the mesh inside. This sound mod, really impressed with. The noise reduction on this mod is fantastic. Definitely my mod of choice at the moment. Leopold VX6 HD 3-18 by 50 scope. Really impressed with this scope. Super bright image, really crisp and clear. I am genuinely excited to get this out on the hill and see what it can do. It's fitted with the tier 1 mounts and Spartan equipment. I do have my light bipod on here, but we will be using the hop light when we're out on the hill. Obviously the terrain is vastly different, so we need as much flexibility when we're getting mounted. And finally the ammunition, Seiko Blade 162 grain is my ammunition of choice. Been using this for a while. Really impressed with this ammunition. Now there is a Blade Pro coming out, which I will be moving on to. Just waiting for that to land. But thank you very much GMK and Viking Arms and obviously Elite Optical for this setup. So let's get going.
I don't got the highlights, but I got the highlight. Really representing any given out of my time. From the west coast, coming to you at the prime time. To let it go, 2-letter intervals. I'm talking LA, preceded by Santa Barbara. Sicky legacy like I'm leading the fleet of Spark. Tell me where to go, I can't promise to listen. Cause the road from the intro's a mission. And they know, but they're never gonna tell you. Label get you growth, but they only wanna sell you. LA got me so independent on my level. Yeah, we got the shows and the pros on the mental. Everywhere I go, seeing Marilyn Monroe. The city got me double taking when I'm out alone. Something about the coast, produce a beautiful home. We in the zone, say we in the zone, yeah. Wind blows, eyes closed, I know. Some days just fade away, but not in this.
So I'm finally here, Kildermorie Estate, and wow, what a place. It is absolutely stunning here, especially this time of year. It's November with all the autumn colours all over the trees on the drive-in. It is beautiful. I'm just inside the lodge now, getting comfortable, getting settled in. Today's just going to be a meet and greet day with a few more guests, and tomorrow morning we're up early, breakfast, and then we're out on the range. We're going to hit some deer targets at different distances and really hone in, and then we're straight out on the hill afterwards in search of some hinds. Hopefully with this low pressure we'll want to do about too much. Fairly chilly night last night.
Yeah, it was cool again.
That window doesn't work, I'm afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
We are in a Land Rover, so you can expect it.
At least you understand, yeah. And this door doesn't, on the right hand side, the passenger, it doesn't open from the inside.
Oh.
So, yeah. And that's a little bit of the temperature gauge. Is
You alright, shoot, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
whenever you're ready.
You going 1 or 2 first?
100 first.
Wow. Well, that's some impressive paint loss.
200, yeah?
Yep, please. Perfect.
We want to try and do it.
Jump on that.
This is the thin. Yeah, if you look at how the stock on those, like it's like their paint's wandering. You can see fiberglass. And they're only 2 seasons old. But that, yeah, that's really good value at that, eh? Yeah, shit, because that's only what, 500 quid more than ticker?
All the guns are hitting the mark and the stalkers are really happy with everyone shooting. Now we're off to the main spy point to see if there are any deer out on the hill. As we park up and look out onto this section of land, this actually only shows about a quarter of the whole estate. So that's us out on the tops. Guys are just down there spotting scopes, thermals, just having a look across all the hills on the estate, just glassing everything, working out where the deer are. There is a lot of deer out on different hill spots and in the plantation down this side, but there's not much wind. There's about 3 mile an hour wind just coming from behind us, across us a little bit, but it's swirling as well, so the gillies and stalkers are trying to work out best plan of attack, because it's going to be very difficult to stalk with that wind. They tell us that the deer don't like steady winds or no winds because they're not sure where to be or where's safe, so they'll move around a lot more. But we'll keep glassing, we'll keep looking, take advice from the head stalkers. After careful consideration and taking the environment into account, the group of deer which we intend to stalk have been chosen. One final glass with the Leopold spotter and we will be on our way. See through that quarry through here, and that bear now it channels up. Even though it's blowing west through, it's coming out there, it's coming up through this place called the Simpsons here. I don't like that way it comes through that saddle, it kind of meets, doesn't it? So you've got 2 different winds in the same place. And you've always got to think about the topography of it. At this point, we have worked our way into about 600 yards of the deer, wind blowing across from right to left and the deer are straight out in front. We make a plan, evaluate the terrain, and we begin our crawl. point here, the stalker and I have just had a discussion about dialing the Leopold scope in for a 250 yard shot before slowly making our way into the firing position. It was safe to say I was absolutely shitting myself. Very nervous and adrenaline was pumping. It is now becoming very real, and if anything spooks these deer now, it's game over. He explains to me which deer he wants culling and wants confirmation from me that I understand which deer he has chosen. He tells me to look around at all the surrounding deer and the calves close to her, as one could potentially be hers and may need culling too. We watch, we wait, until the chosen hind presents herself with a suitable shot.
So, do you feel comfortable with that shot? You feel happy with taking it out, okay? Don't rush. Good shot, reload. Great shot. Wait. I'm not sure if it's hers, okay, so I'm just going to randomly shoot at her. If it's her calf, she should just stop, okay, and she should either come back or just mill about, okay, so we'll just wait. Just wait. That was a very good shot. And we'll just watch the group. We'll just see what hangs about and if anything comes back, because nobody knows what affects us. I've got a superstition that I don't shake people's hands until I've touched the deer, okay? So I'm not being rude, but you've done a great job. Yeah. Likewise, that's us.
Well done.
And of course we find the horrid fucking little
Great spot to die in,
juicy burn, yeah. That's it, yeah. You can go back now and say, yeah, I led in a fucking hole with this fucking stalker that made me lying on top. Good stuff. That reticule's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little setup there.
Each notch is 1 MOA as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good little scope that, isn't it? congratulations.
Thank
Well
you
done.
very much.
Really well done. Excellent shooting.
Amazing, thank
I'm
you.
really, really happy with that. That rifle's safe, buds.
Brilliant. Amazing. Thank you. Good job. Really good job. Good man. Well done. Thank you very much.
The old bloody handshake.
So job done. Blooded by the stalker. First red, absolutely over the moon. It was an amazing stalk. We came right round the side of this hill and tucked up in some rocks here, and the deer were about 220. So dialed in the awesome Leopold scope, worked really well, bang on the money. One shot, old hind, really old, the guys think it's maybe about 8. Dropped on the spot. Seiko blade, copper ammunition, 162 grain through the Sacco 90 fin light, done its job. We're just walking off the hill now. Deer's been grollocked. Get the old girl in the larder, get her processed. Yeah, weather was really still, like no wind, but we did have some rolling fog which we used as cover to especially get into a better position on the final approach. So amazing, over the moon. That's us back down the hill, back to the vehicles. The young gilly's going to take the quad. We'll go pick up the hind. We've left it about 200 metres down the road. Just going to go pick it up, get back to the lodge, deer in the larder, and yeah, check out the shot placement and the next step of the process.
Well, that's great.
That's why we like that.
What's it talking to teeth and Sam? What's the age or what do you? 9, 10-ish. Old man. Bit of tooth action. Everybody's got to have the fetish, Craig.
Craig.
Well, how does yours? Feet fetish, is it?
That's the heart.
That's the heart. That's not that's just you.
That's what we like.
We enjoyed a wee dram as we watched the guys work seamlessly together, processing the deer that weighed 41 kilos when hung up. She is now ready for the chiller and will ultimately end up in the food chain.